is here for you.
Hi, my dear Astrology family. So we are going to be looking at Uranus through the houses. So we will be looking at Uranus in Gemini, how it might impact you on a personal level. So recently I posted a video about Uranus in Gemini and the general forecast. I focused on investments in there. I looked at the positive and the negative sides. So in this video, we are going to be looking at 5, 6 good things about Uranus in Gemini in a particular house and 5, 6 negative things as well. So you've got a well-balanced video here, and then you can be conscious about some of the negatives, and then you can use the positive ones better. So that's the plan with the video. So please press like, share the video with others. Potentially, you can subscribe to my YouTube family membership program as well. And then you get weekly breakdowns. Each breakdown is approximately about 20 minutes for each sign, sometimes longer, but usually it hits the 20 minutes window. So if that's something you would like to go ahead with, then it will be a pleasure to see you among my YouTube or kind of like Patreon members. And also something I'm very excited about, I am going to be doing yearly forecast for 2026 for each sign. It will be approximately 2.5, 3 hour video each, and it's on pre-sale right now. The videos will be sent out with a calendar for you around the 15th of August. So if you are interested, check it out, support my work. But now let's get started with Uranus in each house, transit Uranus. We are going to start actually with Gemini rising sign, of course, because at the end of the day, Uranus is entering the sign of Gemini. So how is that playing out? Remember, Uranus is the modern ruler of your ninth house. I'm going to try to integrate that as well. It's kind of like the ninth house is walking into your first house. So there is definitely an identity revolution here through your beliefs and knowledge. So the good side of it could be that you learn a little bit more about yourself. You do self-discovery, and that's the first house. Learning about yourself is coming from the ninth house experience. But there could be a sudden desire to challenge your belief system, certain type of core beliefs and philosophies as well. Suddenly you can fall in love with astrology, or suddenly you reject traditional dogmas or religious views once you held. And therefore, there is a radical shift going on in how you look at the world, and your personal truth is somehow changing here. This is not just about changing your mind about something. This is about changing who you are based on your own insights. So it's super important that you calibrate your mind. You are open-minded to new worldviews, but there is a bad side to it as well. This could become kind of disorientating. It could be, if your mind is tied to a particular belief system or the way, let's say, studies should be happening, then there could be this sudden urge to break away from these, and it can create a certain type of an identity crisis. I don't know what the meaning to my life is. I need to figure that out. I'm feeling lost. So I have to be able to kind of like experience a lot of new things so I can figure it out. So the solution here would be that you need to be on the lookout for new adventures, new philosophies. Maybe you need to follow a spiritual path. Maybe you need to study something that you resonate with, something that makes you evolve and makes you unique as well. This is also about asking questions. This is about kind of like questioning everything, questioning the truth of someone, questioning the truth of everything, basically. And then you are forming your own opinion. Yes, you can become intellectually provoking as well with this position because you are expanding your worldview. So you can get into really great conversations with others. Now, the first house is associated with appearance, of course. So on one hand, this could indicate that the way you communicate or your appearance is going through a significant change. I mean, maybe because you expanding your knowledge, you even get exposed, for example, to foreign cultures, you are going to be traveling more and so forth. You pick up certain type of new styles. You start learning a language, for example. So that's one positive manifestation of that. The bad could be that maybe some people think that you are preaching about something. The ninth house represents preaching. You are too eccentric. You are just kind of like showing off that now certain words don't come to your mind, or you are just all about self-expression. You are selfish because you want to talk about yourself and your new ideas and your experiences that you had. So I would say that you're going to have to find a balanced way to express your own experiences so that we can come across right to others. You might have got these sudden urges to relocate, to study, to travel. I mean, the first house is new beginnings. So starting a new life somewhere, and it can come like as a sudden type of idea that, you know what, I want to be just very far away. I would like to be a digital nomad, for example. But this feeling can be very impulsive, very disruptive to your existing life structure as well. Imagine your career, your home, your relationship, because Uranus will be squaring your fourth, 10th house and will be opposing your seventh house. So the recommendation that I would like to make here is to make sure that you are not making rash decisions. Let's say quitting your job because you've got this opportunity to travel or to move and so on. Have like a Gemini rising should do, it collects the data first. You can even become quite rebellious against any type of intellectual or philosophical worldviews. Like you are trying to break free from, what others think of me because it is not making me grow anymore. If it's your opinion and it's your business. What you think is none of my business, right? And maybe you are trying to reject certain type of family belief systems, or maybe you want to study something unconventional, for example, or maybe you are questioning the integrity of the teacher, or you are challenging the status quo of your guru, your teacher, the field that you are in. That's also actually a possibility. I mean, because we have got this rebellion type of energy, it could indicate extreme situations as well. For example, in your partnership, with others, and so forth. We might be just simply rejecting the idea of someone else just for the sake of being different, for example. And surely this could indicate spiritual awakening as well. This could indicate that you are forming a new identity. This is about stepping outside of your comfort zone. This is about kind of like awakening that I've got my, in a way, strength. I'm unique. I've got a unique talent. And sometimes an awakening could cause isolation as well. Because I don't know what to do with this piece of information. I don't understand what is happening around me. So I have to be reflecting on it. I have to be kind of walking away from it. And because Uranus will be moving back into the sign of Taurus later on, sometimes in November, most likely some of you will get isolated because you want to make sense of the newly learned skills and knowledge that is in your possession right now. Okay, so let's move on to transit Uranus in Gemini in the second house. So it means that you have got a Taurus rising sign. Let's start with the good bit. So we are going to try to come up with good and some opportunities as well and certain type of solutions to navigate this in the bestest possible way. I mean, you might be actually innovating the ways you make money. Like, this is a time for you to generate money, to be financially independent, finishing off your debts, Maybe you are choosing a field that is technology driven or communication based, for example. So making money out of online activities. You are trying out new things of making money, and that's really super good. Something digital here. Maybe it's writing, speaking, teaching, maybe you decide to invest into certain type of teaching platforms. That's highly possible. It means that you have to be quick, a quick thinker, and you have to be able to be adaptable to be able to make that money because Uranus electrifies whatever it touches. And of course, it is Gemini, which would represent that it's quick. It's a quick sign. So also it might indicate that you are going to be trying to make money from multiple sources. Like I've got an investment portfolio. I am also having my full-time job. But at one point that Uranus would like you to say goodbye to one of them and then kind of like focusing on entrepreneurship. It's all about independence. So finding ways of being able to kind of like just rely on my own money. Also, your values could be changing quite significantly. So you might realize, for example, that something that I valued for a very long time, something that was dear to me, I want to walk away from it. Maybe you have had bad spending habits. Now I'm going to be kind of like fixing it in a way, breaking the pattern there. Or I want to do something like I want to earn money, which I can put myself into. So it reflects my more authentic self. So you seem to be prioritizing freedom. You kind of realize that the true value in life is freedom. And so therefore, career change is highly possible for you, Taurus rising sign. Obviously, Uranus is the modern ruler of your 10th house. So it might indicate that you want to open your own business, or you might just shut the doors on the face of your boss because you feel that the communication between the two of you did not necessarily work in the bestest possible way. Maybe this is about upgrading your skills as well, like learning new skills, and potentially these are something to do with digital or sales related skills. I think this transit encourages you to find ways to make money and use unconventional skills and ideas and be eccentric. It's also about having the confidence to show yourself. The bad side of this transit that it could be a source of income that is not regular. So financial instability, unpredictability could be on the horizon because Uranus is the planet of disruption. It is an erratic planet. We've got sudden gains and then unexpected losses, unexpected expenditures. So this is not, it's kind of like periodic. And what it can do to you is you can feel unsettled. And then you end up going back to your old job because you have got a Taurus rising sign, and that's about financial security. That's one of your most important kind of like motive. So I go back to my old job and it's gonna be something that I start hating. But imagine Uranus brings you the money. The danger here is that there could be impulsive spending habits as well. Obviously, with Gemini, the trend is changing. It's changing quite quick, and I want to keep up with the trends. So I'm buying these technological items, gadgets, or I'm investing into courses or any type of communicational tools such as phones and so forth. And obviously, at the end of the month, you might realize we don't have anything left. Also, your self-worth would fluctuate as well quite significantly. Sometimes it could be super good. Most likely, it depends on how you feel about yourself, how you feel about your own abilities. This could indicate, or how much money you've got, of course, in the bank account. But this could really talk to you about that you feel insecure, even worried about the financial situation in the world. And maybe you have to be spending money quite a lot on technological items because they break down. You know, technology is great to have, most likely everyone would agree, or most of us would agree, but sometimes they break down. So I would say that don't buy used items and so forth because they might be causing a lot more headache for you. And maybe even the way you spend your money could be changing quite significantly as well. For example, I'm not going to like the cash anymore. I'm going to be using more of digital forms and so on. And because Uranus is the modern ruler of your 10th house, it could indicate that your self-worth is highly dependent on how they see you or view you at work. Like, do they appreciate my work? Do they tell me that I've done a good job? Or it could indicate that if the job is super challenging and there is a lot of chaos there, Uranus, then all of a sudden my sense of security is dropping. So there is this internal conflict here, making money or breaking free. Staying at this job, which is kind of like giving me regular income, or to go for something that is more authentic. So we can have these kind of like we can become scattered. We can feel kind of lost in there. So I would say that you need to be reevaluating your values. You need to innovate your business. You need to be getting in touch with something that you want and desire. Networking and collaboration is kind of like compulsory for you because Gemini is about connections, and making connections and new friendships actually can elevate your finances. And just really watch out for your spending habits. Like, if it's shiny and looking good, it doesn't mean it's functional, right? So don't leave yourself too thin when it comes to money. Have a bit of a backup plan as well. And potentially maybe practice being able to detach from something also. So, for example, being able to sell Gemini an item of yours, because Taurus, you've got the tendency to hold on to things. And if it's outdated, it's not needed, let's make space to something new. Okay, let's move on to our next sign, and that's going to be transit Uranus in Gemini in the third house. So it means that you have got Aries rising sign. Okay, so Aries rising sign, let's start with the good ones. You can have a lot of ideas. You can really make new connections. This is brilliant, genius ideas. Your mind could be all over the place. Your mind can be buzzing. You can have these unconventional thoughts and opinions, and you want to express them. Maybe you want to do a social media channel, for example. Maybe you are becoming somehow a pioneer in technology, in communications, whether it's writing, speaking, social media. It's using a new kind of like form of digital interactions, maybe because you have got a business plan with it. Definitely, I mean, Uranus is the modern ruler of your 11th house. So you are making new connections here. You are potentially thinking about an online business, but your connections with the siblings or with groups can be changing quite significantly as well. You might become somehow this type of a hub for your friends, and then everyone is coming to you to have a conversation, to exchange ideas with you, or you are connecting with unconventional groups, or you are attracting new but interesting people into your friendship zones. This could indicate also that you just want to be expressing yourself freely. You want to speak your own truth. Maybe you have got something to share that is shocking or unconventional to others, but it's somehow liberation. It's about no more censorship. It's somehow about finding your voice. Obviously, maybe you didn't want to tell something to your friends, for example, because you were afraid of being rejected. But this is at the end of the day self-censorship. Maybe the 11th house rules the society. So the society doesn't expect me in certain ways to communicate, but Uranus might want you to break away from those. Now, it could indicate also that your immediate surroundings undergo a certain type of a change. So a new neighbor pops up, for example, potentially you might be moving a little bit more, or your neighborhood is changing rapidly. Like, for example, I don't know, the local transportation is going to be completely different, for example, in your area. And we can be excited about it, and therefore we can even invest into these type of things. If you had rocky relationships with siblings, then there might be a shift there too. So it could go from good to bad or from bad to go as well. Or maybe your sibling is going on an unusual path. Maybe your sibling is breaking up, getting divorced, gaining their freedom back, and so forth. Or simply you are kind of like distancing yourself from them. It looks like you're going to be using technology a lot more in your daily life. Now, potentially some of the warning signs of this aspect is that your communication can become quite erratic. It could be more impulsive, shocking others, what we have got to say. We say something without thinking, and of course, it can lead to conflicts and misunderstandings as well. You can get super excited about information, so you can have this information overload. And I don't even know which information to believe anymore. And because Uranus has got this disruptive nature, the flow of information is somehow getting disrupted here. So not every single piece of evidence or information is handed over to you. And of course, I can be nervous about it. This can actually indicate nervous energies as well. I mean, your mind is highly active, and therefore you might not be able to sleep. Insomnia could be one thing, anxiety could be another, or I constantly need mental stimulation. It's difficult for me to focus. Or you might be experiencing more and more problems with your car or local, like traveling around locally, for example. So there are detours, or you make a change how you commute. You might be traveling a lot more, taking short trips. Maybe you are going to be becoming a salesperson, for example, or your car or vehicles can just break down out of the blue. And then I'm looking for alternative ways of traveling around. We can have conflicts with siblings and neighbors as well, or just within the kind of like with the relatives. Potentially, they might not agree with the way you act or the way you talk, and then they are kind of, telling you all those type of stuff. But Uranus is the modern ruler of your 11th house, which is goals and aspirations. So there could be changes, sudden changes in your friend zone, or all of a sudden your goals are changing completely. Like, I've got a goal, I've got a plan, and that is affecting my daily life. So I would say that during this transit, what could be important is that be conscious about how you communicate, mentally explore possibilities, but be mindful. Make sure that if you are restless, you channel that energy into something potentially creative. Plan your day ahead, because days can become a lot more chaotic, and then we can be kind of like running all around like chicken without heads from one appointment to another. So I would say that when it comes to your daily schedule, kind of make it flexible, or leave a couple of hours out here and there. Potentially, you might be reevaluating your social media channels, as well as you might be putting your business onto social media as well. I would say that not to get too nervous or having a mental breakdown. Maybe you want to meditate, you want to doing some practices that help you ground yourself. And when it comes to communication with neighbors and siblings and relatives, potentially we need to be on more on the open side, but I am going to make sure that I give voice to my unique opinion as well. Okay, so let's move on to the next sign, and that's going to be Pisces rising sign. So, dear Pisces, Uranus in Gemini will be transiting your fourth house. So, we are going to be looking at the good, the bad, some of the solutions as well. Remembering that Uranus rules your 12th house. That's the modern ruler of that. Let's start with the good. Potentially, it could indicate that you are liberating yourself from family patterns. Like there are some outdated family traditions or restrictive upbringing, or even the sense of being stuck in a certain type of ancestral pattern. And now you're going to start the healing journey there. Maybe you feel this very strong urge to create a home, a family life, somehow a family life that reflects your unique and evolving self. Also, you might be innovating your home environment. So you are doing some radical transformation. You are kind of like making a smart home, or you could just move suddenly. Like all of a sudden, you are going to be traveling all around. Maybe you even create a home office, and then you are going to be having friends around quite a lot, or even your clients actually. But also, your living circumstances could become quite unconventional as well. Also, as I said, your home can become kind of like this intellectual hub for many. So a lot of friends coming around. You have got new ideas connected to home. Maybe you are going to be kind of like studying or teaching at home. That's even possible. And also, it really feels like that this time for you is going to be about emotional freedom. Because the fourth house represents your emotional foundation, it can bring sudden breakthroughs in understanding your emotional needs, your deep-seated patterns. And this is being amplified, of course, by Uranus being the model ruler of your 12th house. So these insights might be coming from dreams or intuitions, or being able to somehow liberate yourself from any type of subconscious fears. So that's the emotional liberation process here. I also believe that this could bring you some interesting unconventional family dynamics as well. So somehow it's kind of like the not so normal family circumstances, actually. Maybe you decide you make peace with not getting married, for example, or just you are entering kind of like a civil partnership. Also, it could indicate that your lifestyle is going to be becoming kind of surprising to others. Maybe you are going to be moving around quite a lot, something that is kind of like giving you greater freedom. So you become a digital nomad, for example. But I also, because Uranus is the modern ruler of your 12th house, your home can become a sanctuary for you. Maybe you want to create a space where you can retreat and engage in your deep spiritual work, or you are working on certain type of a project. Maybe you even want to kind of keep secret where you live, for example, but it really represents a certain type of a psychological healing for you. Now, the negative side of things is that your home life could become quite unpredictable, even chaotic, like frequent moves, sudden breakdowns of household appliances, family conflicts and feuds. And therefore, it's a little bit more difficult for you to ground yourself. You have got this independence for desire either way, and maybe it is clashing somehow with family members, and that could be leading to arguments, or you might become quite rebellion, or you are distancing yourself from relatives. Also, maybe you just feel this restless drive to be all around the world somehow. So it's a little bit more difficult to pin yourself down, to settle down, to kind of create a stable base, for example, for you. So you might be continuously redecorating, moving furniture around, or just simply visiting different types of countries all the time. Now, because Uranus is the modern ruler of your 12th house, there is this unexpected revelations from the past as well. So you get to know certain type of family secrets, for example. You all of a sudden are hit by past traumatic experiences, and it might be connected to your upbringing and it surfaces for you somehow. While ultimately this would be a liberation from it, but at the beginning it could become quite intense and even unsettling. Even you might feel unrooted somehow. So it's kind of like I don't feel kind of well anywhere, any part of the world. Maybe this is the reason why you might be moving around. And also, even it can indicate that someone who becomes homeless, obviously, that's only going to be, let's say, 0.5% of a Pisces rising sign. So don't get, too worried about it, but you're going to have to be able to kind of take care of your possessions as well. I would also say that this could even indicate a bit of a depression position as well. And therefore, you want to be staying at home. But remember that Uranus would like you to be actually not getting stuck all the time in your own home. So I would say that it's going to be when it comes to your living circumstances, you're going to have to remain flexible. I think if you feel stuck somehow in a country where you are or in a home, then it's going to be somehow a time for you to move on. Remember that the fourth house is also about endings as well. So suddenly you are ending, for example, a marriage, a work, and so forth. You're going to have to be able to redefine what home means for you. And it's not just from a fixed physical location point of view, but of course, like the inner security could be coming up as a topic as well. Maybe you need to be innovating your domestic environment. Maybe it's time to process the past somehow. Maybe this is also about being mindful with family members that it could lead to certain type of conflicts. And if you feel restless, channel it into something, become more productive, because this is kind of like an empty position, being at home all the time. And then you can get stuck in your mind, right? You are living in your head somehow, and we're going to have to break out of that head. And even you can be exploring your own roots as well. Okay, so let's move on to the next sign. And what happens when Uranus is transiting your fifth house, which means that you have got Aquarius rising sign. So let's start with the good stuff for you. I mean, it is about suddenly falling in love. You might be attracting some really interesting people into your life, and then you are forming certain type of romantic connections with them, or you are expressing yourself somehow creatively, right? And it could be groundbreaking. It is something, an unconventional form of art, writing, performance, even hobbies as well. It can make you super creative, but it also makes you ahead of your own time as well. So you can become quite unique. Also, your romantic life could be kind of unconventional as well. So maybe you are meeting some exciting people. Maybe it's also kind of unpredictable. You might be getting attracted more to eccentric, brilliant, highly independent individuals, for example. This is more to do with a non-traditional relationship structure, actually. It's kind of like going with the flow, not necessarily getting too serious about it. Let's be spontaneous. Let's enjoy the relationship as much as we can without getting too committed. Also, surely you will feel this urge to express yourself more authentically. and potentially you want to be removing inhibitions in your life as well. It might be that you are partying more, attending more social clubs. You seem to be a little bit more vibrant. You even seem to be a little bit more on the honest side when it comes to presenting of your own personality. Remember that Uranus is the modern ruler of your first house. So you're going to have to become creative. You're going to have to be able to show who you truly are. I mean, you might be taking on some exciting hobbies and leisure activities. You don't want to live a boring life. So that's why you can pick up some unusual hobbies. Maybe it's technology related, maybe it's communication related. Also, you can have breakthroughs with your children as well. I mean, for the good or for the worse, it depends. But it's an experiencing of a sudden shifts. And maybe you are actually detaching yourself from a child, meaning that the child moves out, the child is growing up, or we are forming a certain type of intellectual connection. Even you can be approaching new parenting styles as well, letting them be more independent. Also, this can represent speculative gains from technological stuff, for example. With Uranus, we always need to be just slightly bit cautious because it represents unexpected gains in gambling and speculative businesses. But at the same time, this is kind of like all over the place as well. So make sure that you are just examining, collecting facts about what you want to invest into. And surely I feel like you are going to be a lot more playful. And it's something to do with the recreation of the self. I think if you have got a romantic connection, for example, in your life, then it redefines who you are. Potentially, you are going to be presenting yourself to the world more kind of like being daring, being on a stage, and so on. Now, some of the bad stuff, I mean, it can really make our love life way too chaotic, erratic. So it's an on and off type of relationship, sudden breaks up, or getting attracted to partners who are emotionally unavailable, or kind of like commitment phobic. So there is a lack of stability in your romantic connections potentially. And of course, it can be very upsetting. Also, your creative energy can be all over the place as well. I mean, Gemini is super versatile, and then we can be doing too many projects at once, but never finishing or just finishing few. You can be challenging actually authority figures with this as well, making unconventional choices. You can be shocking others, and even you can get shocked as well, though, and it could become a source of stress. You can get into very risky speculative stuff as well. Obviously, you might be chasing the excitement element, or you might feel like that I don't have any other choice but to take a risk. And of course, it can lead to sudden financial losses. So caution is super important here. And maybe you become overly outspoken or eccentric, and therefore people might start detaching themselves from you. And even it can indicate lack of joy, lack of play. I mean, if you resist the urge for change or genuine self-expression, then this transit becomes very restless, and it is boredom. And then what am I going to do out of boredom? And even it could indicate certain type of crisis situations through relationships as well, because Uranus rules your first house, and obviously the seventh house is actually opposing that. So I would say that experiment different type of creative fields, seek mental stimulations in romantic life. I would say that it's super important that you express who you are, pick some hobbies, learn about yourself, give space to your children. or even detach yourself from your children, not necessarily breaking the connection, but let them grow up. Basically, that's what I mean by that, and connect with like-minded people. Then this transit should be pretty cool for you. Okay, let's move on to uh, Capricorn rising sign, and then Uranus in Gemini will transit your sixth house. Let's look at the good, the bad, and some of the solutions that we need to be embracing. I mean, this could indicate the good side is that you are about to revolutionize your work style, your work methods, even your daily routines. I mean, you might be using more technology when it comes to your daily activities. You might be using certain type of communication tools, or you're gonna have unconventional approaches to fix things in life. You can have choosing certain type of technological items to promote efficiency. For example, you are trying to find new ways to get things done and so on. And then also maybe you just want to become more flexible when it comes to work environment, for example. So you might just decide that I want to do something more flexible. I don't want to work from 9 to 5, for example. I want to do freelance work. The traditional 9 to 5 job is actually boring the crap out of me. It is becoming unbearable. So you are looking for roles that offers you greater variety as well as greater freedom. There could be miraculous recoveries as well. Like if you had struggled with certain type of medical conditions, then all of a sudden it could actually give you miraculous recovery. But all of a sudden you can lose weight. You are choosing different types of health modalities to get better. Exercise actually can drastically improve your well-being, so you might fall in love with that. You might be more drawn towards alternative therapies, or even you are integrating technology somehow into your health routines. You might be attending some unconventional treatments also. Now, Uranus is the ruler of your second house, the modern ruler. So it looks like that innovation, that change that is about to be happening in your work environment, it is actually linked to financial well-being. So you are trying to find ways to monetize your skills, to create new revenue systems, potentially through a service industry. For example, so you are about to be offering an online service, for example, to others, and that's why your work and health habits could be changing. And then it might be offering you a certain type of a financial freedom. Also, it indicates that you just need mental stimulation at work. So, like, I'm bored with the role that I do, or I need someone to give me something to look forward to. So, this might become a period of time when repetitive, monotonous work might become or might feel like stifling, suffocating, and that's why you are going to be looking for roles that are intellectually more stimulating. Even it could indicate that your workplace is going through a kind of like a upgrade, like especially involving technology and certain type of new communication skills. And then you're going to have to pick up new skills here. And yes, it could really indicate that you want to offer unique services to others, a type of service that others are not doing just yet. Now let's look at some of the negative ones. I mean, your work schedule could become all over the place. You feel job instability somehow. There are sudden disruptions to get to work, or there are layoffs, for example, unexpected changes. People are leaving, protesting, and therefore your schedule can become highly unpredictable. This could lead to stress, and I don't feel secure. I am feeling ungrounded somehow. Because Uranus rules your second house, your business endeavors could fluctuate as well when it comes to income, for example. Right. And then at the end of the day, the sixth house is an earth house, generally speaking. And Uranus being the modern ruler of your second house, you're going to need a certain type of security either way. And when it becomes erratic, when there is a sudden gain, for example, but followed by unexpected drops, then I can get worried about the future. So we're going to have to be putting a little bit of a money aside as well. This could indicate kind of like a nervous breakdown or disruptions to your medical conditions. Often it's because somehow the nervous system is overstimulated. So that leads to anxiety, insomnia, or the health basically can be all over the place. So what you need to learn here is to make sure that you ground yourself and then you do something on a regular basis. It could indicate some unusual symptoms that is kind of like hard to diagnose as well. There could be conflicts in the workplace as well, like clashing with colleagues and superiors, and eventually it could lead to a resign or a dispute, or simply I just want to stand up and I cannot tolerate this anymore. Or what might make you anxious is that you cannot follow the routines that you had before. Suddenly these routines are broken, potentially due to external circumstances. And that's why you might feel disorientated. And you can get really bored with any type of mundane responsibilities as well. And simply, I just need a change because it affects your finances. It's very easy to make a quick decision. My recommendation is that remain flexible, build some skills here, make sure that you innovate your routines, prioritize your mental health, reevaluate your connection to money and values, potentially explore alternative health approaches, and apply, for example, technology to boost productivity somehow. And surely, I would say that put some money aside if you want to be making a change in your work environment so that you have no shocking and surprising stuff coming to you. Even I would say that it would be super important if you actually could define the type of service that you give and then you kind of set boundaries with them. So, for example, a 1 hour reading, if you are an astrologer, is 1 hour, and then I'm not going to be stretching that over because Uranus is the modern ruler of your self-worth. So you need to get kind of like honored for the amount of work that you put in. Okay, so let's move on to transit Uranus in Gemini in your seventh house, meaning that you have got a Sagittarius rising sign. So for you, the seventh house, well, we are upgrading. Let's look at the good ones first. This is about upgrading your relationship department. The relationship becomes more exciting, more mentally stimulating. We can start a new relationship. We can collaborate with others. We might be kind of like creating some unconventional connections. You might get drawn to people who are highly intelligent, independent, unique, progressive, or even it could indicate that your existing relationship kind of like the communication becomes more open. And then we use even technology to connect more somehow. If you are in a committed relationship, it could indicate that the stagnation period is going to be over. So we're redefining our agreements. Maybe we give each other more space. We explore new ways of connecting, for example. Also, it could indicate that you are about to be forming intellectual partnership with others. So collaborations and then let's make a YouTube video together, for example. Let's kind of like share certain type of opinions and learning experiences as well. You are potentially meeting people who you can engage with some mentally stimulating conversations with. And so basically, alliances are highly possible. Maybe you are connecting more with your local environment, or you're using a certain type of communication channels, for example, even in your work as well. There might be non-traditional type of relationship that are popping up in your life. And because you have got Uranus, the modern ruler of your third house, it also feels like that there are breakthroughs in communication within relationships. So you might realize that the old communication patterns that we used are not working anymore. And then I'm going to be somehow upgrading that using TikTok or different types of way of approaching your clients as well. Potentially, maybe you even use AI and so forth in your business endeavors as well. Now, some of the negative ones, though, is that it could be a divorce, for example, unexpected, unexpected breakups, unexpected divorce, separations, or just significant changes in your relationships. Something that is kind of like you guys are held back somehow from forming that intellectual bond, and it could lead to arguments as well. Also, this could indicate that the partner acts out somehow. The partner becomes unreliable, inconsistent, maybe emotionally not available, or traveling quite a lot, for example, and then we are kind of like unable to create some spicy moments, or I'm not getting emotional support. Mentally, we can become very overstimulated. This is one of the reasons why arguments, constant debates could be happening as well. Like the partner is challenging every single idea that I have. And then somehow I don't feel emotionally calm here. It could indicate that there is the partner who is resisting the idea to feel kind of like tied down. So commitment issues, but also it could show that you are working through your own commitment as well, though. And simply, I just want to get my freedom back because I don't feel understood, respected, that there is communicational breakdowns between us, and so forth. Also, publicly, you can have arguments as well, though. I mean, it's the third house, so we can have legal cases going on with the neighbor, for example. Public disagreements, shocking statements that we make, hearing gossips about the partnership, miscommunication with partners or adversaries or siblings and relatives as well. So even with your local network or online. So not just the partnership can become, of course, volatile as in romantic, but it is any type of partnership. And some of you might find yourself in an unexpected legal battle as well. I would say that this transit is inviting you to embrace freedom, making sure that there is space within the relationship. Honest and open communications, I think, are super important keys here. You need to be finding someone who mentally stimulates you. You're gonna have to be looking at what commitment means to you, and also when there is heightened mental energy involved, then it can be super draining. So you're going to have to be a little bit more mindful, potentially meditating and so forth, because that Uranus is opposing your first house now. So it is affecting your view on the world. So good luck, Sagittarius rising sign. And let's move on to the next one. which is going to be Scorpio. Uranus will be going through your eighth house. Let's look at the good, the bad, and maybe some solutions as well. And also, Uranus is the modern ruler of your fourth house. So let's start with the good ones. I mean, this actually could indicate financial breakthroughs, especially if you collaborate with others. I mean, there could be unexpected changes in your finances, in your partner's finances, or maybe even it could indicate that certain investments might be paying off, or you are going to be receiving inheritance, or you are getting the loan that you want, or your partner's income is increasing quite significantly. Maybe you want to be liberating yourself from debts, and you are going to be able to do that. Maybe that's through inheritance, for example, or somehow you are collaborating with someone, like a business collaboration, for example, and that is giving you an element of a financial freedom. Also, this could indicate that your sexuality will undergo a profound shift as well. So maybe you are not that, like you are more experimental. You might break free from sexual traumas or taboos. Maybe you are experiencing somehow uh, unconventional forms of intimacy as well, or you have got this sudden awakening, and that leads to a element of freedom, especially in your deepest connections. There could be psychological liberations as well. I mean, this could really indicate, for example, psychological breakthroughs. You understand your deep-seated fears, your past traumas, your subconscious patterns, and then it leads to a mental, personal liberation. Also, you might be investing money into something. Maybe it's technology, cryptocurrency, or, and then that could lead to a gain, of course, but don't forget, Uranus also carries risk with it as well. Also, you might be doing some home innovation. You put down the money for mortgage, or you are making money out of properties, because since Uranus rules your fourth house, and eighth house is something to do with transformation. So even it can indicate that you are transforming your home as well, for example. And maybe it's your family home. Maybe actually you want to be making your home a little bit on the smarter side as well. So it's just not just renovation, but somehow maybe making a corner for yourself, which is just yours in a way. Also, it can indicate that your financial situation or your partner's financial situation impact your domestic stability, for example. Maybe you are finding new ways of managing your money. Also, it could indicate that any type of family-related financial burden you are able to liberate yourself from. So maybe you had a mortgage and then you are about to be paying this off. Maybe you get the family money that they owed you. And even it can actually unleash certain type of family secrets as well, like something that is hidden matters, for example, something connected to the family roots. And unfortunately, let's get going with some of the bad ones as well, because this could talk to us about a sudden death of a family member, and we don't expect that. It could indicate financial instabilities as well, like actually the partner loses their job and the income becomes highly unpredictable, or we are jumping into certain type of investments without any type of considerations, and then it leads to a loss. Even this could represent disputes over shared money, inheritance. Maybe this is a property, because Uranus is the modern ruler of your fourth house. There could be disruptions in your intimate connections, upheavals, breakups, a divorce, a strong urge to be free again. and somehow something that you are committed to and potentially the partner is committed to, we are not seeing eye to eye. It can indicate an open relationship, for example, because you're redefining intimacy department. Also, it could indicate that someone cheats on you, for example. It could be an emotionally intense period, even volatile as well. I mean, when it comes to the depth of the eighth house, Uranus makes it very unsettling. So emotionally unsettling period can indicate as well. It could be coming with mood swings, for example, or anxieties related to control or feeling overwhelmed by all the power that you've got at hand. There could be unforeseen tax issues, legal battles, for example, complication with tax return. So legal matters, we can expect that with that too. Also, there could be your family life can become quite unstable as well due to finances. I mean, because you've got these sudden financial changes, it can impact your home life. So all of a sudden, the relationship somehow changes within the parents, but also it can indicate that it can impact your home as well, because let's say you're unable to pay the mortgage. So these are some of the negative ones, and not to mention that if you liberate yourself from family members, like you are examining your psychological complexes, at the beginning it might not be easy, right? If I get to know a family secret, a piece of information, I gain certain type of psychological insights that are shaking up my sense of security and belonging and emotional core foundations, then it feels like that kind of like the rug got pulled out of your feet. So, what I recommend with this transit for you is that make sure that you have got this financial agility, make sure that you are prepared for fluctuations. I think make you need to make sure that you communicate about intimacy and money matters kind of openly. Focus on your psychological healing. Do a lot of research before you invest money into something. Make sure that you find an anchor, something that can emotionally anchor you. And you need to be, because changes are inevitable with this position. And maybe those changes are going to be shaking up some of your domestic roots, for example, your inner sense of security. So we need to be prepared for that somehow. And also make sure that you invite the change into your life. Okay, so let's move on to our next sign. What happens if Uranus is actually going through your ninth house, which means that you've got a Libra rising sign. So first of all, we are going to be looking at the good ones, the bad ones, and maybe some suggestions. Let's start with the good ones. I mean, you can really upgrade right now your belief system. I mean, this is brilliant time to break free from outdated dogmas, philosophies, inherited, ingrained belief system. You might be questioning every single type of belief system because you want to kind of forge your own. You want to go on a spiritual or intellectual journey, for example. So therefore, you can study. You can become a lot more intuitive. Somehow intellectually it looks like you are expanding, and then you've got these breakthroughs. You are more open to new ideas. You want to be having experiences. You've got these aha moments. All of a sudden you understand complex philosophical and spiritual concepts, even scientific theories as well. You potentially can be traveling quite a lot. More and more exciting, even unexpected travel plans could be happening, like being a little bit more spontaneous. Um, Maybe these are long distance travels. Even you can relocate with this too. I mean, you might end up studying something, or you decide that you want to be sharing your knowledge and vision with others as well. And it might be connected to something that is fun for you, a hobby of yours, because Uranus is the modern ruler of your fifth house. There could be a lot of creativity and romantic connections formed, for example, abroad. Like Uranus is the ruler of the fifth, as I said. So you can have these creative projects connected to foreign lands, or a romantic connection may suddenly just pop up in your life and we might not even understand. And then it might become a long distance relationship, or I travel to see the person, or you start opening up your worldviews and then you invite different cultural perspectives into your life as well. I would say that creativity potentially is a big one for you. And also, it represents because Uranus is the modern ruler of your fifth house, which is connected to self expression. You are ready, you are free to express who you are. It's kind of like expressing who you are through topics that you have learned about. So somehow you've got this belief system that fuels your more authentic and uninhibited version of your self-expression. So therefore, you might be taking even some creative risks and you're exploring new venues. And of course, that would be something that is connected to your worldview, though. And you can even gain money through speculation. But, this would be like an unexpected gain from certain type of speculative ventures, but related to foreign markets or international connections and so on. Now, let's have a look at a couple of those bad meanings as well. I mean, one of them is that your worldviews can be all over the place, and you can be rejecting opinions of others. So you might not want to listen to others. Now, this is potentially breaking you free from old belief systems, which is actually good, but maybe you go to the other side of the spectrum, like the opposite extremes, and therefore rejecting somehow to stay right in the middle. And there could be a lot of trouble, for example, in your travel plans as well. So visa issues, or trips are suddenly cancelled, or detours, or certain type of chaotic experiences as well. So, or you lose your visa or your passport and all those type of things. If you are studying, you can be clashing with teachers or even religious figures, and potentially even with your clients as well, because Uranus is the modern ruler of your fifth house, and the fifth house is speculative businesses. Also, you might study way too much. It's kind of like an intellectual restlessness, and then you jump from one subject to another without kind of like deeply exploring any of them. And therefore, we do grasp a lot of information, but maybe we are unable to kind of put them together. Also, there could be disruptions in your romantic life as well due to certain type of opinions, like we cannot get on the same page. Even it could indicate that the sexuality doesn't work between two people. Also, it could indicate that, let's say, if you have got children, that your child wants to study something that you don't want to. A child can be dropping out of school as well. Or even it can indicate that your child is actually going to university. And then you're going to have to somehow support that financially. And even it can indicate that you find it difficult to find your own truth. Like you cannot see what the point is to live. You cannot figure out your own personal philosophy. So therefore, it could be kind of like intellectually, I feel somehow rootless. So what we need to do during this transit for you is that be curious. I think learn and dive into new philosophies, spiritual path, or go back to university. But it's going to be super important that you listen to other people's ideas as well. I think buy flexible travel tickets, for example, and define what higher learning means. Define what the meaning to life is for you. I think you're going to have to be able to put forward your belief system, just being sure that it's a respectful dialogue and then you listen to them as well. I think you need to be finding mentors, those ones who are kind of diverse, someone who allows you to think and let you do stuff your way as well. And they are not trying to push down something on your throat that this is the way, this is the only way. And even it might indicate that you need to be exploring non-traditional romance, that you don't need such a commitment. I mean, it sounds bad, right? But being kind of like okay with a long distance relationship rather than being jealous and so forth. That's what I mean by that. Okay, now let's move on to our next sign. And Uranus basically would be transiting your 10th house, which means that you have got a Virgo rising sign. We're going to be looking at the good, the bad, and maybe some suggestions. First of all, let's start with the good ones. So this is all about kind of like upgrading your career path. Maybe you are finally breaking free from any type of traditional career path, and then you are ready to become self-employed. You are ready to upgrade your professional identity. You can be suddenly changing careers completely. Maybe you start a startup company, a business. Maybe you all of a sudden find yourself in a leadership position. Maybe it's all about your public image. And if you are original, if you are eccentric somehow, that might be able to boost your public image because somehow you are known for something, you are standing out of the crowd. And maybe you have got the ability to communicate complex concepts as well. And you are okay of challenging the status quo. I mean, maybe your new career somehow involves potentially YouTube or internet technology, digital communications, and potentially you need something that is requiring a lot of intellectual agility. Where you are preparing information, you exchange ideas with others, and so forth. You can feel this very strong urge to liberate yourself from any type of restrictive job environments, like rigidity, like these hierarchy figures where I'm being looked down on, or the authority figures are oppressive, for example, because you need greater autonomy somehow. And maybe it can even indicate, because Uranus is the modern ruler of your sixth house, that all of a sudden your business is going to take off. If you introduce kind of like new innovations in your daily work, it's basically going to bring revolutionary changes in your career, in your business. You can be exploring or discovering more efficient work methods, for example, which simplifies the steps, your routines, or even you find this health breakthrough, meaning that you feel better, you feel stronger, and therefore you can put a little bit more energy into your work as well. So I love it. Also, this could indicate that you want to be improving the service that you provide to others, and people are gonna notice that, and therefore you're gonna get recognition for it. Let's look at some of the bad ones, though. It could indicate actually that your job is very unstable and there is an unexpected layoff. You can lose your job. It could even indicate that your responsibilities are shifting at your company, for example, and then you're gonna have to be able to master new skills. And also, maybe you just constantly feel that I need to make a change in my career, but potentially, security might be super important for you because you've got Virgo rising sign. You can have a lot more conflict with authority figures as well. Like, because especially if you work for a traditional institution, for example, or something that is super established, and then they don't welcome your ideas. Also, you can be known for the wrong stuff. So this could indicate even certain type of scandals for some of us due to erratic behavior. And your reputation can somehow, unfortunately, collapse as well. There could be a lot of stress and instability at work. There could be, unfortunately, health issues as well, because you've got these disruptions of your daily routines. Maybe it's related to your nervous system, and then it's very difficult for you to maintain certain type of habits. And then you might need to stop working for a while, and that makes you super anxious. Or imagine that you do something online, but it bothers you that the public is scrutinizing you. And let's say that you are getting promoted, but it also indicates that what you are inheriting from the previous boss, for example, is a bit of a chaos. And you're going to have to work really hard to kind of put a new system in place. And the system comes from the sixth house. So I would say that what's very important is that you don't cling to your career much. You are open to freelancing, or you are open to upgrade your portfolio a little bit, making changes the way you work. I think also it's important that you remain professional though with bosses and authorities because they can cause you trouble. It really feels like that you are meant to be creating your own brand as well. And think about how to manage stress and how it feels when you get rejected, or how it feels when you have to be in the public arena. Is it something that you are comfortable with? And I think when it comes to communication, it has to be clear, and you're going to have a plan, and potentially maybe find people who want to support you. It's kind of like you cannot do everything on your own because the sixth house is employees as well. Okay, let's move on to our next sign. And that's going to be Leo rising sign. I mean, you do have got Uranus going through your 11th house. Let's break down the good and the bad then for you, Leo rising sign, and maybe let's make some suggestions as well. I mean, you can make some really good friendships. You can be super good at networking as well. Maybe you are attracting some unique people, people that support you progression, uh, mentally stimulating, intellectually stimulating friendships that you can actually meet. And even your social circle can expand quite rapidly as well. Like drawing people in from diverse backgrounds, or people that are part of somehow a technological company and so forth. You can even get gravitated towards groups somehow that make you feel more independent and accepted or forward thinking. Also, you might actually make your own groups, not just getting involved in groups, but you are creating your own online community, for example. Or you want to do something humanitarian, or you are focusing a little bit more on social change. You have got this vision now, a vision for the future. Maybe you get a little bit clearer about what you would like to do in the next, let's say, 8 years, and then you can get really inspired, potentially. I would say that maybe your future will undergo a significant upgrade. You are actually figuring out kind of like a unique goal that excites you, and then you get supported by others. And therefore, you are even able to break away from any type of like social norms, company work. You don't care about social expectations anymore or getting the pressure from people because you just want to be an authentic version of yourself. Now, you have got Uranus ruling your seventh house. So the partner actually can help you with all these changes. Like maybe you are partnering up with your romantic connection, or it's a business collaboration, someone who might be supporting your future aspirations. Maybe even you are about to be introducing your partner to others, or if you are single, you can be meeting someone through your social circles as well. Maybe your friends become somehow a source of innovative ideas. Maybe a friend is going to be introducing someone to you. And even your communication can change quite a lot on online groups and so forth. Now, let's look at some of the bad ones, though, because friendships and partnerships can become kind of unstable. There could be sudden departures of friends. Maybe friends just disappear. Maybe they move away. Maybe they make changes in their lives, and then you cannot align yourself with them anymore. You might feel alienated somehow. You cannot agree with what is going on in the society. There are too many changes, and then mentally it makes you somehow nervous. And maybe you feel like that your friends have become kind of too traditional and you want to be distancing yourself from them. And therefore, it can lead to certain type of volatile group dynamics as well, like getting into unexpected conflicts, power struggles with them. Maybe you don't get the support that you want from your networks, or the support that they give you is inconsistent. So sometimes I feel supported, sometimes I am unsupported by my friends, by my partner. And that's why maybe I'm spending more time together with my friends because my partner doesn't support my goals anymore. Or you can have arguments with your partner over being part of a group, for example, or because of your long-term aspirations and goals. And also because Gemini is all about information. So even a friend of yours can spread information which is not necessarily true, it's unreliable, and so forth. And that could even lead to um, kind of like disagreements. So I would say that to make the most out of this transit, you're going to have to be connected to people who are like-minded. Maybe you want to be part of certain type of groups, for example. You're going to have to integrate relationship with your long-term goals and aspirations, but work on your own future. Don't let other people's expectations define who you are and what you want to go after. I think it's all about being clear about what you want, how your future want to look like. And then I'm going to be kind of like getting rid of any type of societal expectations. When it comes to conflicts, be conscious about them. And I think we need to remain somehow professional, and let's just focus on logical but clear communications. Okay, and then last but not least, let's have a look at Cancer rising sign. So Cancer for you, Uranus will be transiting your 12th house. And by the way, Uranus is the modern ruler of your eighth house. Let's look at some of the good ones and let's look at some of the potentials as well. So there could be psychological liberations going on for you. I think this is a very powerful time to detach yourself or to gain insight about your subconscious mind, to kind of bring out some of the buried memories, hidden fears, or examining your self-sabotaging patterns. And these could be surfacing rapidly. And then you know that you're going to have to be able to liberate yourself from this. It could be coming through dreams, meditation, therapy, or just an intuitive hit. I mean, there could be this spiritual awakening as well. Like you can be receiving these messages in unconventional ways, like flashes of insight. You are hearing voices, for example. And people can look at you as like being a cuckoo, but actually there is a message behind it. So you're going to have to be able to translate it. And that's the Gemini element there. You might be trying alternative healing modalities. You are practicing certain type of a spirituality, for example. You are delving into secret esoteric knowledges. And therefore, what it does, it expands your consciousness. There are a karmic pattern to heal here, certain type of wounds, and Uranus will spend enough time here to reveal them to you. Maybe it's connected to traumas or rejection, and then you are ready to heal that part of you. This can be very creative as well, like creative inspirations. You've got this sudden burst of like creativity hitting you directly from your unconscious, like writing or poetry or anything that is kind of intellectual or, of course, communicative. And you are freeing yourself up from self-sabotage, bad habits as well. Maybe you have got the power now to break free from that. Maybe you are able to, let's say, give up smoking and all those type of things. It's all about inner freedom. Because Uranus is the ruler of your eighth house, there could be investment opportunities as well, or certain type of hidden financial matters. You get insight into shared resources, something that comes to light about money, and maybe these are your money blockages. You can have unexpected inheritance. You can uncover financial secrets, or you find innovative solutions to fix your financial problems. So that's also great. Even you can be healing intimacy or relationships as well, because you realize your own relationship patterns. You have got this revolutionary approach to intimacy department and power. So you can start working on gaining your own power back. It looks like this is a very transformative journey for you. Is it easy? Not so much, but not impossible. Now, the bad side of this transit is that because you have got all these psychological issues, traumas, or bad habits that need kind of like recalibration, it could be overwhelming and then you can become disorientated. And it could be kind of like a psychological crisis, mental breakdowns. I think you can be misinterpreting your intuitions. I mean, your intuitions are super heightened most likely, but do you understand those psychic messages pretty well? They need translation, and that's Gemini. Maybe you want to isolate yourself, you're feeling misunderstood, so you want to walk out of the society, you want to withdraw yourself, you are not understood somehow, you feel like that you are a rejection, a failure, and so on. And therefore, you decide that you cut ties with many people. And therefore, it could even indicate a divorce as well. There could be disruptions or kind of like financial schemes as well that are happening to you. I mean, like a financial disruption that pretty much relates to the eighth house. And maybe there is a hidden debt there that you don't know about. Maybe the partner is doing financially something secretive and then it comes to light. And also, this potentially could indicate these unresolved subconscious issues that you are not healing, and that leads to a self-sabotage, and it affects your relationship, and the partner can walk out of your life. Even it can indicate love triangles as well. While rare, but I'm going to mention that you can even be put into institutions like hospitals, rehabs, but you can be attending spiritual retreats as well. So I think this transit is inviting you to do the inner work, to do your own therapy, to document your dreams and your intuition and try to make sense of them, kind of see the coloration. I think sometimes you need solitude and reflection also, and potentially learn to ground yourself. Like there are so many grounding techniques out there, because sometimes it's also about feeling overwhelmed, feeling lost. And therefore, we need that yoga, we need that walking in nature or spending time with, stable friends. So, who am I surrounded by? I feel like intimacy needs to be healed here as well, but we need to be just very self-aware and be aware of the type of self-sabotage that you might do so that you can kind of like say goodbye to them. So, guys, this is my breakdown for all 12 signs. I hope this short video helps you to navigate Uranus through the sign of Gemini, and I hope you are able to make the most of it. Please don't forget to like, to subscribe, to join my membership program if you would like to get more breakdowns for you, especially on a weekly basis. And check out my yearly 2026 forecast that I'm going to be preparing for you, a good 2.5, 3 hour each, or you can get the whole bundle if you want to, because you can start now preparing for the upcoming year. Have a lovely weekend, everyone. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Every sign and every house, a journey starts, and we allow the universe so vast and true. Astro Victor, it's here for you.